the air that we breathe. Oftentimes, during our busy lives, we take it for granted. But for those who work in critical environments like hospitals and schools and pharmaceutical laboratories, the proper airflow and pressurization of air is essential. And one company that knows that and works to assure that for many companies and organizations is Accuspec Incorporated, headquartered here in Monroe, Connecticut. I'm Jim Masters for Close Up on America's Business. Accuspec is a company that is a manufacturer's representative as well as systems integrator. And their job is critical environments to assure the proper airflow and pressurization of the air for such environments.
Two major reasons that people would come to Accuspec. One is safety, and the second one is environmental concerns and economic concerns as well. The safety reasons, particularly in laboratories, is to ensure that the operators are being safe inside that laboratories. The fumes are not escaping from the hoods, and that the operators do not have to worry about their health. The second reason along those lines are environmental and economic. The control systems that we put in do save energy, and by saving energy they save money, and then they also save the environment. And in the beginning, when we first started selling this equipment 15, 20 years ago, people were much more concerned about the economic impact. Now we're seeing these same companies and organizations that are much more concerned about the environment, and they want to do the right thing for the environment. And that's why we belong to several organizations in this area. My area of expertise is geared towards the control systems. My background is as an electrical engineer and in process controls before I really got involved with the HVAC industry, has always been in the controls. And so that's really where my concentration has been. We all have the capabilities of handling any of the products that we sell, but if I were to say that I specialize or I'm more geared in one direction, it would be for the lab controls and just generally controls industry.
My role here at Accuspec is developing large projects for our company and deal with clients directly in environments where they have humidity controlled issues, energy efficiency issues with creating chilled water, and maximizing return on mechanical systems.
Could you elaborate a little more on what that means?
It's meeting with clients and trying to analyze the problems they're having to find a solution to that problem. And what I mean by problems, most of the things we run into with hospitals are in operating rooms or invasive procedure rooms. And what these rooms are basically is wherever there's a surgical procedure taking place, the control of that environment to prevent infection in the patient is critical. So when there's a hospital that cannot perform procedures in these rooms, if it's not maintaining temperature, humidity, or humidity conditions, we come in to analyze a problem and ensure they have maximum uptime and assure a safe environment for the patients.
My involvement with this company, Accuspec Vitec, is going out as a specialist, understanding the regulations and the guidelines that are involved within the critical environment structure, so I can speak intelligibly to an owner, an architect, an engineer, other entities that are involved within the entire process, how they need to apply products, what they need to be aware of for applying these products, so that they're creating that safe environment to their employees. Safety is paramount, so in any design that I've ever done within or worked with an owner with or an architect or an engineer within the last 25 years, that's been my number one concern. You need to go by the guidelines that are created for that safety within a lab space. They talk about the velocity that's going through that fume hood. So all of these items are key. Once you have that in place and you're looking at the airflow measurement and making sure that the lab is safe, now you can take it to the next level, which is what can we do about energy? What are some of the things that we're doing today to bring to the owner, the engineer, and the architect as far as methods of safety?
Here at the testing facility, we test the valves, the AccuValves, as well as calibrate them. We do testing for modifications, for sound, for response, for flow profile within it, within the valve, as well as speed of response, as well as accuracy. During the calibration stage, we're testing for accuracies of flow measurement and controls for the valve.
Accuspec is one of our independent reps. They happen to be our local rep here in Connecticut, and they cover Connecticut, New York City, New Jersey, and Western Mass. We've known Fred and his organization for some 19 years now. probably the longest running rep that we have in the country. Also, Accuspec is and has been our top performing rep for the last 3 years. And what Fred's company, Accuspec, has been able to do, they have created a company that has that dynamic. They can support their customer base anywhere within their region very well with their resources.
Why Accuspec? What makes you guys the best out there?
And I'd say that Accuspec provides that expertise, but that also we're all involved with some very strong organizations that are out there in the forefront of looking at the regulations and looking at the guidelines and creating new things to basically protect the owner in what they're doing and what they're creating, whether they're creating a process, whether they're creating a product, whether they're doing research. As a group, we're very involved with those voluntarily, those organizations, to bring us personal knowledge so that we can then bring that forth to the client.
One of our most successful projects have been with a large hospital where they were actually having 20 to 30 days of downtime in the operating rooms where they cannot operate during the summertime because they cannot maintain temperature and humidity conditions in the operating room. That's a regulatory requirement. They have to maintain those conditions to ensure a safe environment for the patients. They asked us to come in and to look at this application. We recognized what problem they did have. They had an outdated mechanical system, air conditioning system, that cannot maintain those conditions. We were able to come in, analyze that situation, provide a system that can provide the temperature and humidity requirements they need year-round, and they've had no downtime in those operating rooms due to these systems.
We take a look at the facility, and quite often we can work directly with the owner, with the facility, the Pfizers, the Bristol-Myers Squibbs, Hoffman LaRoches. We can work directly with them, or quite often we'll just work with an architect or an engineer who is doing the design. And we can work with them to develop processes and the control schemes that are going to be required for a particular lab. There are two types of projects that we would get involved with. We can either do retrofit work where they have an existing laboratory which does not have any controls or anything on it. They want to go with a green and sustainable lab environment, and they may decide that they want to take a look at putting controls on. So we may work directly with them and come up with a scheme where we can add our controls into the existing ductwork, the existing hoods, and make sure that we have everything set up so that they can indeed go with the control scheme that's going to save a lot of energy and make the operator safer. The other approach is with new construction, where a new lab building is being built, and we can work with the engineer and or architect to help develop again, a control scheme which can be installed when the building is being installed with the ductwork to make sure that the lab is safe and environmentally green or sustainable.
Accuspec Incorporated. It's a detailed and intricate process that they deal with every day, but one that's vital to many companies like hospitals, schools, even supermarkets and ice skating rinks. And it's a company that provides a dedicated team professional service every single day. Reporting from Monroe, Connecticut, I'm Jim Masters for Close Up on America's Business.
Well, that does it for this edition of Close Up on America's Business. I'm Janice Marie. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.